Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. I promise you'll love my content. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Welcome to the party. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. And this video is going to be a tribute to my very first video that I uploaded on YouTube. Now y'all probably didn't see it because I was so embarrassed after the fact that I just like laid everything out there, so I unlisted it. But you know what, I went ahead and relisted it, so you guys can definitely check it out. I'll post a link right up here, so go ahead and watch that if you want. Do not judge me too much from that video. I don't think that I can give relationship on how to be in a successful relationship because I'm not there yet, but I could definitely give you guys information on how not to become single. Boo. Something new. How not to become single like me. And please understand, this is not a definite solution to your problems, because you know there are things that go beyond what I'm gonna say that will cause you to end a relationship. So don't listen to me and think that if you do all this stuff your relationship is never gonna end. It may, but just take my opinions, because they're definitely my opinions, into consideration. And yeah, and I'm actually gonna be doing a get ready with me because I am going to try to do some content for my Instagram. So if you don't follow me there, go ahead and head over. My Instagram is livelove_b with 2 E's. I'll definitely link that down below in the description box so you can check that out. And yeah, oh, let me get a video of just like everything I'm using today in case anyone is interested. I'll just do that on my phone because I don't feel like picking up my camera. And as I'm recording this video, I do have a couple of notes jotted down for what I want to say to you guys. So yeah, if you see me look down, that's just my notes on the flow of the conversation, because it's very easy for me to get off topic. So these notes will definitely help me. And this is my robe, the same robe that I wore in the last video. And I know you guys see my Natori robe that I love. It makes me feel luxurious in my try on haul. If you didn't watch that, right up there. I just feel like this is the appropriate robe, so we're gonna jump right into it. Let's go. So I haven't rewatched that video, and I tried to today. At least I started to actually before I filmed this video, but it's hard. It's so hard because I hate the way I sound. I feel like in that video I'm very vulnerable and almost telling myself a lot. I speak about, you know, how I accepted the bare minimum from people, how I put myself in a situation to be the other girl, and just a lot of things that I really needed to grow from. And a lot of that is a reflection on my insecurities and also my just low self-esteem, I guess. And I had to grow from that, and I did. Like last year I did really well. I didn't waste anyone's time. I didn't go on a date with anyone just because it was Valentine's Day. And I kind of carry that into this year's theme, where like, yes, people asked me if I wanted to do anything for Valentine's Day, but again, it's like, no, I don't want temporary love. Like I don't want to get so wrapped up in the Hallmark season that it kind of makes me give someone my time knowing that nothing is going to come of it. Like, you know how some people, you'll go out with them because you're literally going to enjoy the moment, you enjoy the entertainment, you enjoy entertaining each other, you just enjoy the company. I feel like I wasn't gonna walk away with that. Like literally it was just gonna be a date, eat, talk, and then go home. And it's like, for what? Like what are we doing here? Now if it was a friend, like by all means do this with your friends. I think that's perfectly fine. Have Valentine's Day, have stuff like that, like just people you honestly enjoy being around. But just to have someone to go out with like that, it just wasn't something I wanted to do, I'll be honest. So yeah, so it's never so far. So yeah, like I was just not interested in that. So but yeah, watching, I just couldn't get through that video. I did kind of tell on myself a lot. And I don't want to revisit that because it just be like, damn girl, whew, what was wrong with you? So let's get into today's topic: how not to become single. And I feel like I can talk about that because I've become single, and a big part of that is listening to what people tell you. So I don't know if I said this in last year's video, but one thing I do realize is that there was a reoccurring theme in like my breakups, when shit, excuse me, my language, when things didn't work out. And one of those were of what they would tell me. Like, one of the things I always hear is like, I can't make you happy, or no matter what I do, I always do something wrong. And I think a big part of that was because I was very vocal about the things that bothered me. And this came after not talking about it at all. Like, it takes me a while to feel comfortable enough with you to express how I feel, or at least to express the things that make me uncomfortable, that I don't like in a situation. So I think that kind of made it hard, because it's like, well, this girl was good for so long, and then all of a sudden, like, everything bothers her, when in reality is like, it kind of bothered me from the beginning, but like I just kept sweeping it under the rug, sweeping it under the rug, and then you reach a breaking point where it's like, no, not anymore, stop doing it. And some people weren't catching on at all, and I think it's a mixture of them not wanting to change because they got so comfortable with how things were, and then also there may have been situations where they were trying but I wasn't seeing it. Because once somebody does something you don't like, you're gonna look for that all the time. You're not gonna look to see, oh, they're improving steadily, like they didn't do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but they did it Friday. You'll just be like, well, you did it Friday, I don't need to recognize all those other days. So I feel like it was one of those situations, because not with all of them, with some, but I think like prior experience kind of played a role in me acting like that with the person I was with in the moment. Not all of them, like I'm saying, but some of them. Yes, trauma kind of builds trauma, and you kind of want to look out for red flags, but you got to be careful with looking out for those red flags, because some people honestly just don't know. But instead of giving them the opportunity to understand, like, hey, this makes me feel that way, it's kind of like, you can't do that. Which leads me to point number 2. Don't make it seem like everyone is out to harm you. I say this because everyone is not out to harm you. Sometimes people do stuff just out of, sometimes ignorance, sometimes out of habit, sometimes out of the way they were raised. They do certain things because it's just how they learn to do it, and it has nothing to do with you. Everything that someone does to you, directly or indirectly, doesn't mean they're trying to harm you, trying to play you, trying to pull one over on you. Sometimes they literally just don't know. And I feel like it's up to you to kind of express how you feel in that moment. We expect people to know better because we think certain things are common sense. Like, say for instance, this is the beginning of you dating, and they go out and they come over and they don't bring you food, and it's like, you didn't bring you no food, you should have knew better, you should have known. This is something that's like not an issue, but this is something that is more prevalent in only children, where it's like they don't think about others as much as someone who grew up with siblings would. So it's not that they aren't thinking about you, it's just that they were in the moment and they were eating food, so it didn't cross their mind, you know what, I'm leaving here, let me bring, you know, this person food, especially if you ate. Like, it's a whole thing. But in that moment, you should express like, hey, I really wish you would have offered to bring me something to eat, you know, I'm hungry. Just check in to see if I'm hungry next time. You know what I mean? I would appreciate it if you would check in, but don't say it in that, you know, that tone. We sometimes give, like, be sincere about it, like, hey, you know, I really wish you would have thought about me, like, I was kind of hungry. But yeah, and their response may be something like, oh damn, I didn't think so, I thought you would have asked. I would have, like, so you have to really understand certain people. Now after you tell them, that's a different story. After you tell them and they just did not take your advice, then it's like, all right, you playing with me right now. But off the bat, like, you should have discussion sometimes. So yeah, like I said, one of my biggest issues is that I hid my feelings so much. And it's not, the main reason I think is because I don't like confrontation, which is so stupid because eventually all it is confrontation. Argument after argument. Why do you do this? So that's not healthy. And you don't want to introduce that to your relationship, honestly and truly. Like, you really don't, because it doesn't benefit anyone. Like, who wants to be in a situation where you're dreading an argument all the freaking time? Like, that's draining. And you know, sometimes you might be like, well, I'm not arguing, I'm letting you know how I feel. But then you have to think, how are you? What is your mannerisms when you're talking? What is your tone of voice when you're talking? Because if you're getting upset and short-tempered and you don't want to actually hear what they have to say in response, it's like, well, you should have, and it's more of accusations than an actual conversation, that's an argument. So you want to focus on that. Make sure you're not doing that, because yeah, you don't want to feel like you're fighting every day with your person. Training how not to become single. Now this, I know so many people who do this, including me. I was very guilty of it. You're afraid of being played in public, and we all are. We don't want to look stupid. However, you don't want to freaking, what am I trying to say? You don't want to treat your partner like they did something before they even did anything, if that makes sense. So it's like you trying to avoid a situation where, you know, you get played. So it's like you're running down where they are, or you're like, well, what did you do? Who did you talk to? Where'd you go? Certain stuff like that, like accusations, and just treating them like they have something to hide. Don't do that. One, now this is my opinion, this is solely my opinion, if someone is gonna do something, they're gonna do it. If they play you, they're gonna play you. It makes no sense for you to try to catch them before they do it, because one, that's stressing you out. Two, it's stressing them out. Three, it's creating a problem that doesn't exist. Like, if you're constantly telling someone, oh my gosh, you're talking to this person, you're doing this, or let me see your phone, let me see your phone, let me see your phone. If you're doing that consistently, it's like, why are you even with this person? Like, if you don't trust them to that extent where you have to question everything that they're doing, or even in a scenario where they may have hurt you before and you decided, you know what, we're gonna try again. Even in those situations, if you hold on to what they did in the past, you're not gonna be okay, because it's gonna stress you out. Like, at the end of the day, if they still do it, whatever, they're gonna get caught and you could go about your business. But you doing the most to try to make sure it doesn't happen, it's not gonna prevent it from happening. Lo and behold, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and you know what, just let it happen. What I will say is, in this time, be the best partner you can be. For me, I feel like I was trying to catch certain things, you know, because I was traumatized. So it's like, this feels weird, and honestly, shit didn't feel weird. You just went through some trauma. It could have been with that person, it could have been before that person, but you just went through some trauma. So now any little thing, you're looking for that same red flag that you may have tossed to the side before, and it's like, you can't do that. See how I told y'all I began lost in my train of thought? I forgot where I was going. Give me a second. Oh, that's where I was going. So it's like you're seeing red flags. So then you're like, well, I'm not going to do this because I don't know what you're doing. Or I'm not going to be good to you because I don't know what you're doing. Or I'm not going to be there for you because I feel like you're not going to be there for me. And in creating this thing, it's like you're making them feel like you will never trust them, right? And in their mind, they're like, well, she's not trusting me, so it's not going to work anyway. Versus this is me, I'm going to put my best foot forward. Why am I going to put my best foot forward? So I know once that shit ends, ooh, excuse my mouth. When I know once that situation ends, I know that I did everything I did. So at the end of the day, if you weren't happy with me, if you want to break up with me, if you want to go date someone else, if you cheat on me, if you do any of those things, I know that it had nothing to do with anything that I was lacking. It just means you were looking for something else, and that's fine. Like, I didn't provide it to you, and I'm not gonna feel stupid for being a good girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things people, I was gonna say women, but I know no, because there are men who experience this as well. We feel stupid when we are being our best selves, when we give our best selves to someone. And it's like, no, you can't feel stupid, because at the end of the day, you did what you were supposed to do. They didn't appreciate that shit. You didn't waste your time. They wasted their time. They wasted their time. They wasted your time too. But you were able to come out of this. Being that good person you were is going to get you into that next relationship. Don't think that because this person didn't appreciate it, no one else is going to appreciate it, and I'm not going to give them the full me. I'm going to give them a watered down version of me, because you don't win that way. They're going to go off and be in another happy relationship, whatever the case may be, after they done made you feel that way. But you're sitting up here not giving someone else what they deserve of you because of the trauma you've been through with that last person. Let that go. Be your best self, and if they don't like it, if they're not happy with it, oh wow. But don't let that stop you from being great. That's what I gotta say about that. Yeah, I don't even know how I'm doing this makeup, because we're gonna see. How not to be single. When you're talking, talk about intimate things. Talk about where you see your future. Talk about your parenting styles. Talk about where you see yourself financially, the kind of houses you want to live. Do you want to relocate? Do you want to stay where you are? And I'm not saying that you got to pile that all in, especially not in the beginning, but these should be topics that come out gradually. Because let's say you're a person and it's like you live in a city, but when you have a family, you want to move to the suburbs. But then your partner is like, well, no, I want to stay in the city. Like, everything's here. Why would I want to move? So now you're kind of in this place where you want to move, they want to stay where you are, and one of you are going to have to give up your dream. Or you're just going to have to move on and find someone who kind of aligns with that ideology. The same thing goes for, do you want to live in a condo? Do you want to live in a home? Do you want to live in a town home? You know, do you want to live in a multi-family home? Do you want to rent forever? Like, certain things like that you have to talk about, because it matters, honestly. And then also, you want to talk about finances. What are your expectations? Who pays for what? What happens when you have kids? Do you get to stay home with the kids while one of you guys financially take care of everything? Are you going to put the kids in daycare early? Like, those are all conversations you need to have, honestly and truly. Because you don't want to wait to the last minute and find out, holy shit.
Why am I putting this on again? Sorry.
You don't want to wait to the end and find out, holy shit, we aren't compatible. I understand some people really don't know. If you don't know, that's fine. You'll figure it out. At that point, you'll probably grow together to figuring out what you want to do. But if you know, if you're dead set in your mind where it's like, well, I want to move, and they're like, well, no, I don't want to leave my family, like, you got to talk about it. Same with kids, no kids. Like, you just got to talk about that stuff, honestly. You don't want to wait too long, and then it comes as a surprise, like, oh my gosh, no, we can't. Like, you don't want to do that. How not to be single. This is for the beginning stage, and this is like the very beginning when you first start talking. A lot of the times, a lot of people build these relationships on, we communicate so well, I love talking to you. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. And this is very common for the people who are antisocial, who have social anxiety, who just, you know, this is more so for y'all. Because understand, having good conversation is not a prerequisite to a good relationship. Do you not understand that there are people out there who are really people person? Like, no matter who they talk to, they're gonna have good conversation. So now you sitting up here basing your relationship on the fact that you don't like talking to other people, but here you are talking to this person so much, and it has to be a sign. No, it is not a sign. It's really not a sign. This person is just good at communicating, and the same way they talk to you, they could talk to other people. Now, not to say that communication isn't important in your relationship. It is very important, but what connects y'all the most is the communication, because it's so easy and y'all could talk all day and you love that. It's filling a void in you. That's honestly what it's doing. It's filling a void in you because you don't talk to anyone. Yes, so it's filling a void because you don't talk to anyone, and it's not the basis for you to be with someone. Like, it's really not. I hate to break it to you, but it's really not. You can have good conversation with anyone who you talk to on a consistent basis. So that can't be the foundation of y'all talking, because then if something happens and then you stop talking, but you haven't focused on the other aspects of a relationship, quality time, acts of service, stuff like that. If they lack in all those other categories, but they're offering you good conversation, what are you really getting? A phone buddy. You're a phone buddy. But yeah, so just be mindful of that. Now, how not to become single. Another thing to look out for is love language. So a lot of times, you know, we all talk about love language, will be like acts of service, gifts, quality time, stuff like that. What you need to understand is your love language in two ways. How you receive love, and then how you give love. Now, I have a theory. And you guys tell me if you believe or if you agree with said theory. A lot of the times, our love language has a direct correlation to our traumas. Now, this affects our love language on how we receive love or how we would like to be loved, and also how we give love outwardly. So, for me, how do I show love? I show love by acts of service and gifts. Meaning, it takes me a while to actually learn to say I love you. It's just hard for me. But I'm very argumentative. I love a good debate. I'm not gonna lie. Most people who know me know this is very true. But how I do show my love is if you say you need something, I'll try to get it for you, surprise you with it. Like, I won't say it, but I'll show it to you that way. So that's what I would do. But then my love language on how I receive love was quality time. I want to know that you want to be around me. I want to know that you know, you have time for me. Because I feel like time is very important, and if you can show me that you have time for me, that means you're making space for me, and you're like, people spend time, and that's something you can't get back. So that's what I enjoy. Like, I do love gifts and acts of service as well, but I think quality time is like top tier, and then those two right behind it. But I find that funny because I told you guys how I show it. How I show love is a direct correlation to how, I guess, my childhood, how it was shown to me. Acts of service. I'll buy you this. I'll buy you that. but then how I want to receive it is what I was missing, which is quality time. But yeah, pay attention to that, because once you figure that out, you figure out, one, your traumas, what you need to do for other people, and what you expect from other people. I don't know how this makeup's coming out, y'all. Trying something very new. And then two, make sure that you're asking your partners how they want to be loved, because it matters. It's not always all about you, what you want, what you expect. They matter too, and how they want to be loved too. And the thing is, not a lot of people make a big deal. When I say people, I mean men. There's a lot of men who are traumatized to the point where they don't really make a big deal about love languages. So you kind of have to observe them. The same way you would hope someone observes you, is how you have to observe them. So just see how they respond to certain things, or ask them what they've been through in their past. How were they raised by their parents? What did they feel? Whatever, and kind of base it by that, and see what they respond to. Because it matters. It really does. It really does. So yeah, that's important. And then lastly, how not to be single. Very, very, very major key. Major key. Have relationships outside of your relationship. Don't make your relationship your main relationship. At least not before it's time to. Meaning, if you just started dating, still hold on to your friends, still go out with your friends regularly, still have time outside of your relationship. Because what happens is you kind of become dependent on that person to fulfill everything. Like, I always want to be with you, I always want to be around you, I want to talk to you. When your friends ask you to do stuff, you're kind of like, oh, I gotta check with him. Like, no, do that shit. Tell him you're gonna do it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying go out and just do whatever you want, but like, tell him, like, hey, yeah, me and so and so is hanging out this day, as an FYI. But don't do the whole, I can't hang with you, I gotta see what he says, or I gotta see what she says, or I gotta wait and see what he has planned for us. Like, if it's a major holiday, then yes. If you know that y'all normally do something, then yeah. But girl, if your friends ask you out on a Friday night, bitch, go. There should be no, can I go? Like, first of all, don't ask your man permission. That's your man, that's your father, that's your partner. You let them know out of consideration. You don't let them know out of obligation. Know what I mean? And that's another thing. Straight off the bat, talking to people, we have expectations on what we want them to do straight off the bat. But you don't understand, you gotta get there. Like, you have to build up to that. Like, we see these celebrities, right? And we see what the hell they be getting for Valentine's Day, birthdays, holidays, and all that other stuff within. Within dating for like a couple of weeks. They don't even be dating that long. And they gifting each other cars and stuff like that. Which is very cool, because they got it like that. Like, make no mistake, they can afford that. Us, everyday people, no. And even if we could afford certain things like bags, shoes, whatever the case may be, if you start off with that, right, where does that leave you? Like, if he buy you something small, let's say for Valentine's Day, get you roses, take you out to dinner, upon first meeting each other, that should be enough. Don't be expecting these grand gifts, and don't be giving these. Hey y'all, so my camera like overheated. Oh my gosh, my face looks so crazy, but I think it's mostly the lighting. But yeah, I don't remember where I left off. I'm sorry, I was on a rant per usual. But yeah, it's very important to make relationships, relationships outside of your relationship, so like friendships, build stronger bonds with your family, and don't get in the habit of asking your person to go somewhere, because it's like you're asking for permission, whereas like what you should be doing is building appropriate bonds. You want to make sure you have these strong relationships so you don't rely on that person for everything. Once you rely on that person for everything and they become your everything, like I know people love saying that you're my everything and X, Y, and Z, but no, you don't want that. You want them to be your most, stuff like that, but not your everything. It's too much pressure. Too much pressure for anyone, honestly. Way too much pressure for anyone, honestly. So yeah, avoid doing that. And even if they are your everything, don't tell them. And I don't mean don't tell them like, oh my gosh, you're doing something wrong. I mean like, don't put that pressure on them. Like, you can let them know they are the most important thing to you, without making it you are my only thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's that. Let's see. That's that. The thing is not really aiding in how not to be single. Don't force something that's not working. If the relationship is not working, that's perfectly fine. If the relationship is not working, that's perfectly fine. And just leave it alone. The problem is, if you stay way beyond the expiration date, what happens is you're missing out on other people. You're missing out on what could be for you. Honestly. And you don't want to miss people you could be in a relationship that you end up getting yourself out the game permanently. You know what I mean? So if you stay with someone for years past your expiration date, not your expiration date, but the relationship's expiration date, and you don't know who you're missing in that time. Because yes, there's a thing about timing. What's meant to be is meant to be, but also you have to be active. The same way we say our dreams won't come true if we just dream it. We have to actually be proactive and work towards our dreams. It's the same thing that you have to do in a relationship. You can't say timing is going to work itself out, but then you don't allow yourself the space and opportunity to have that time put into place. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Don't force anything. If it's not working, it's okay. There's someone else out there for you, and you will find them as long as you know what you need to do. If you act like, okay, that's it. If you act like, I can't leave this person, I've spent so much years with this person, it has to work out. No, sis. It does not. And every year you add on with that person is a year you're taking away from a possible successful relationship. So if you don't want to stay single forever, leave when you gotta go. Don't hold on to what's already failing. And let me say this. I'm not saying that you have to leave a relationship when it doesn't work. No. What I'm saying is, if you tried and it's just not coming together, it's okay to walk away. Whether it's been like 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, and then the last 2-3 years you can't, that's a long time. If the last like 2 years you can't get it together, you put in your time. Don't be miserable. Don't be miserable. So I think that's about it. This video was not to inspire anyone to leave a good relationship. This video is strictly to tell you things that we sometimes get stuck doing because we think it's the right thing to do, and it's not. It ends up creating an issue for us in all our relationships. Like I said in the beginning, there are certain things that I've been told with each individual that I've been with, and I had to sit and think, you know what, Viana, there got to be some truth to it. And there is. Like, I got to a point where what I would say wouldn't match what I would say I felt. My love language outwardly was acts of service, gift giving. So I would give you the best gifts. I would do things to surprise you and stuff like that. But when it came to actually saying, yo, I love you, or just sweet things, like, that's just something I did not do. And men want to be loved. Like, men want to be told sweet nothings too, and I've learned that. So I know going in, when I am ready for another relationship, that's one thing I have to do proactively, is to let them know how I feel on a constant basis, not just do things and expect you to know that I'm doing it because I love you. You know what I mean? So yeah, take a self look at what you need to work on. Reflect. Think of what didn't work in your past relationships. Think of things you may have heard over and over again, and work on it. Honestly, it'll make you a better person. And be honest with your partner. If something bothers you, tell them. Don't hold on to it. Don't let it weigh you down until you reach that breaking point. Just say it, and say it in a way that's just just a way of like discussing it, not an argument. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it'll go up today. Head over to my Instagram, because hopefully I will post my Valentine's Day lookbook. My face doesn't look that bad now that I put like on the setting spray and stuff. It's really this ring light. Yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out that video from last year. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed, but I put it out there, so yeah, go ahead and watch it, and let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, all right, bye.